Good morning. I'd like to let you know that these seats up here are not reserved for anyone, so if you want to have the best experience in the house, please feel free to come in front and enjoy these wonderful couches. I tried them myself, they're really, really comfortable. So welcome everyone to Dev Talks 2018, where we bring over 1,200 developers. It's a conference by developers for developers. We have 60 international and local speakers. We're going to be covering 7 different tracks, from DevOps to cloud, to web, to mobile, to automotive, and this particular track is the emerging tech track. And I'd like to tell you that developers, in my heart, occupy a special place because not only are you guys in the fingertips of creating new technologies that are going to improve the lives of millions of people, but you also have the ability to usher in and represent the kind of values that we want to see in the world going forward. You represent transparency, collaboration, community, and in honor of that, and because I know it's morning and the coffee hasn't taken effect yet, I'd like you all to do a little exercise with me. Could you please just stand up a second? Please stand up. Don't worry, it won't take too long, I promise. You'll enjoy this. And I want you to turn to the person on the left and the person on the right, give them a high five and say, "You're awesome." All right. Nice one, brother. Thank you. Thank you. So we have a pretty exciting lineup. We're going to be talking about AI-powered conversations for democracy, VR and AR, machine learning, geolocation, and a lot of exciting stuff. And because this track is about emerging technology, there are a number of advantages around emerging technology and some disadvantages. And I'm here to convince you of 2 things. Number 1, that this is the best track to be in. And by the end of the day, I'd like to see full seats because you're going to go during the break and tell everyone to come to this particular track, which means that they're going to invite me back next year to do this. And number 2, I'd like to convince you that Romania has the opportunity to occupy a special place in these emerging technologies in order to usher in a global brand of excellence. Now, I can hear you saying, "But Colin, we don't have the capital, we don't have the resources, we don't have the management expertise," and that's all true. But I'm here to convince you that with a few shifts in your perception, you could take advantage of the opportunities that these speakers are going to be presenting today. And how do I know this? Is because in my career, I developed a development company, and we developed video distribution platforms for the BBC, the London Olympics, Laureate Sports for Goods, ESPN, all in Romania. We have a patent for encoding and uploading technology. It was 2 times faster than YouTube. This was 5 years ago, of course. Since then they've kicked our asses. But I know basically what it takes to build high-performance teams that take advantage of innovation. And what I currently do actually is I coach developers, freelancers, and entrepreneurs and startups on how to scale and build scalable, predictable sales systems, how to bootstrap their ideas, how to get focused on their vision and what they actually want. And in my experience of doing that, in training hundreds of developers, managing and recruiting developers, entrepreneurs, and innovators, I've realized that there's 4 constituents that make a successful developer from just a developer into an entrepreneur and an innovator. Number 1 is, it's not about resources, it's about your resourcefulness. It's not about capital, it's not about access to finance. It's about how creative, how determined, how loving and serving you can be to your clients that can get you any other resource. But in order to have that, you guys have to have a very clear understanding about why it is that you're doing it. And that is a question of, you've been in the situation where you come to an event like this, you learn about new technologies, you get all fired up, you go home, you maybe do a little bit of research, and what happens the next day? Bosses come, start giving you unreasonable deadlines. Clients come and start asking for unreasonable requests, and that information starts to dissipate because there's a big gap between knowledge and learning something and actually taking action in that. And that gap is actually understanding very clearly why it is that you're doing it, what motivations actually drive you, who it is that you want to serve, what is the reason for serving them, and what kind of skills can you bring that you are an expert in, and combining that into delivering that vision for yourself. The third component is about having a sense of awareness. Now, developers for me are one of the most aware people I know. You take a problem, you're able to deconstruct it in so many ways and build incredible solutions to meet that problem's objective. But between, let's say, developing technology and then actually convincing people in your team, your manager, investors, trying to recruit new team members, that's an entirely different story. And you guys all know Mark Zuckerberg's first interview when he went on stage. He was a sweaty little kid, worried about what he was going to say. But over time, Mark realized that in order to step into the role of what he wanted to bring forward in terms of his vision, he had to become something else. So he became aware of that. He accessed resources, got training, and then you all saw what happened in the last congressional hearing. It was a completely different Mark. And the final component is actually making a commitment. Now, I want you guys to imagine for a second and remember a time when you made a commitment in your lives. It could have been that new house that you wanted, the new role in a job, that promotion that you really wanted, or it could have been that girl or guy that you were shy to go ask out. And I want you to think of all the challenges and naysayers and people that say that you couldn't achieve that goal. But what happened because you were so determined? You went through every roadblock and obstacle to get what you wanted because you knew very clearly what it was and nothing actually stopped you to get there. So during the breaks, I'm going to be sharing with you some very, very powerful tools where you can discover your why in under 5 minutes and you can gain some awareness about the typical problems that hold us back from taking action and bringing some of these technologies to life.